10,000 hours is how long it takes someone to master a skill. Today's video is why people try and then they fail at learning code. They get frustrated and they quit. Everyone wants to learn programming. Like, normally software jobs are well paid. You have a multitude of career options. You can work for a company, you could freelance, you could be contract for 6 months and then do something else. You can even make your own app. You don't need a certification like you would with a civil engineer, right? Everyone has seen or heard about the entrepreneurs, the young entrepreneurs who dropped out of college or didn't even go to college and then made an app and then proceeded to make millions and billions off their apps, right? But the things we don't see in these stories, unless you've like watched a movie about them, are the hours and hours and hours spent sitting probably in the dark in a basement or a garage somewhere, just struggle busing through it. And the only thing that we see as viewers are when they cross the finish line and they get that $1 million deal and they're like, what up, shake hands, and they score that money. So hard, like I had to stay up all night and do all, like, no one cares. Cool story, bro. That's not an interesting story to tell. What's interesting is be like, yo, I just made this super cool app, look. You saw no work behind that. The same can be said for like bodybuilders at the gym specifically. You know, you get to see them on stage in their prime condition, not like the hours in the gym doing the work. Coding and learning anything in general requires you to sit down and just be present, be in the moment, right? And often before you start, you'll think, I don't feel like doing this, I need to do XYZ, I need to do my laundry, I need to make dinner. You just have to make time, right? So you have to sit down, even if you don't feel like doing it, and just do a little bit, and then the motivation will come. So there are two types of people. The people that wait to start something when they feel like it, and then you have the person that says, okay, I'll start doing something, and then I'll feel like it. Jerry Seinfeld has this method for productivity that he uses, is when he gets a giant calendar and he marks an X on every day that he does something, and over time you start to see a chain, and maybe 2-3 days you'll see a chain, and then your only job is to not break that chain. I personally think that I would rather do something small every day, just some small action every day, as opposed to being someone who swings hard or twice a week and then that's it, they're done, right? Action on a daily basis yields way greater benefits than sitting down and trying to knock out one large task at a time. These small achievements accumulate into large improvements rapidly, and because of that compounding interest effect. So skipping one day makes it easier to skip the next. You got the snowball effect in two ways, of not doing stuff, and then the snowball effect of getting momentum and being productive and doing things like this. Like, did my full-time job, and then I tutor some students, and then I was like, all right, do I play Overwatch? I know I say Overwatch, but do I play Overwatch? Do I make a video, and do I go to the gym? Like, oh, I'm sore, I pulled a muscle in my neck, and I feel okay. I feel okay now. I could probably do something at the gym. You gotta make that choice. Do I make the time to do this, even though I'm a little bit exhausted? No. So if I'm not making a video one day, I'm usually writing a script to do the video, or what I'm going to talk about. So research has shown that it takes roughly 21 days, about 3 weeks, to build a habit. You just need to do something for 21 days to get your brain in the habit of things. So one tip that I would have is, when you're trying to learn something, not always going to know where you want to start, and not everything's going to click on the same day. So if you're feeling burnt out, you don't quit. Just switch to something else in a different tier. You're learning Python, okay, maybe go learn Ruby. Just keep it in the same area, but just go explore a different concept. It's a great way to build up these auxiliary skills, and programming concepts are seen kind of as far apart and unrelated when you start learning, but the more topics you dabble in, over time, you'll see that the knowledge starts to come full circle. Let me draw another picture for you. So you have your skill here, and these are each little pieces of information, these black dots. And you learn this skill first, and then you learn this skill first, and then you learn, I don't know, this one in the middle here. And all of a sudden, oh, okay, these two are connected. Learn something kind of related, but a little bit unrelated. Let's say it's this one. And then you learn this one, okay? All right, cool. So the more of these that you learn, the more that get connected, then all of a sudden, okay, now you can kind of see how this relates to this, how this relates how each one of these pieces relate to each other. At least that's how it worked for me. When I started learning, I would just get bits of info here, some random info here, and then all of a sudden it starts to come together and you see how it all works in tandem. So another tip that I would have is find projects and follow along with them. Finding projects and following along with them are how I grow my skills. I learn best when I can take a project, I can reverse engineer it, then I can take that knowledge and I can see where it was used before and why it would or wouldn't work for my current solution. In code specifically, projects are your portfolio, and the portfolio is your life. It's the key to getting a job or trying to switch careers. Sometimes you just flat out need help and you can't figure it out yourself. And no matter how hard you try, if someone just rearranged the words in a sentence slightly different, it would make it click. Right? There are a multitude of ways you can get involved. You can join a Discord community, or you could check out meetups for code in your area. If you're not social, whatever, just show up. Maybe try and teach someone what you know. Even if you think that you don't know that much about code, there's probably someone else that's still trying to learn what you already know, and you can just be like, oh, I helped someone today. You don't really know something until you can teach it, and I found that out while I've been teaching my students. Some students will be like, well, why does that work the way it does? And I'll be like, actually. Outside influences, and what I mean by that is when people first start learning something, they get really excited about it generally, and they start telling people what they're doing, or you have an idea of something you want to make, and then you tell someone about how excited you are, and then they criticize it, or they're like, yeah, I don't know if that would work, and it's easy to get discouraged. You're here to learn, right? You're learning, and having an idea and working on a project is the medium to do it, and you just need to do the work for the work itself, and not for what other people think of it. More often than not, it's easy to see the end goal in your head and how awesome it is to create it, and what really happens is it ends up being tedious, and you end up banging your head against the wall and wondering why something won't work. So you're excited about your idea, and you're ready to find a way to implement it, and then start working on your simple app, and then suddenly you realize you have no idea how or where to get started. And this has happened to me a few times when I was going to make a multiplayer game that was like Battle Royale, and I was gonna add all these cool effects, and then I realized like, oh, I don't know how to animate characters. I don't really know how to make particle effects beyond some dots floating around. I don't know how to do this, and this. And it was just like, oh, that's kind of demoralizing when you start getting into it. And I realized this was going to take me years to do as a solo. So easy when you get stuck on a few things to just totally want to give up. That's why you need to build up these auxiliary skills and learn different topics. Right? This can stop you in your tracks, and it's pretty abrupt. You don't know, and it can be pretty discouraging. You don't know what you don't know, right? So you need to break out your goal into bite-sized pieces. So in the beginning, your code's gonna be broken, right? That's okay. You just have to keep pushing through it. Learn a different auxiliary skill. You don't wait for the time to do it. You just have to make the time, right? Everyone says that when they're talking about the gym, right? You don't have to go. You just have to make time. I don't have time to go. You just have to make the time. If you're trying to learn something, you need to have a sense of urgency about it, right? You need to come home and not feel like you have the, oh, I guess I could do code or I could do this. No, you need to have a sense of urgency about it. That's like, this project is due on this day, I really need to get it done. That's how you should feel about when you're learning something. Even though it's an option to you, you need to feel like it's not. There aren't consequences for not doing it when you're doing it on your own, right? You can't see your future. You can't see your future self standing over you being like bullying you, like, you should do this and I'm gonna be pissed off if you don't, right? You're just gonna wish that you should have started sooner. Some days I just don't feel like doing it. Usually about the 3-week mark, it gets a lot easier for me. You're not gonna be a master overnight, and you just have to accept that. And there's a lot of information out there, and it's always changing. You just have to keep pushing, and then suddenly it'll click, the circle will be complete. Anyways, that's my rant. If you wanna see more of these videos, hit that little subscribe button. And we have a Discord where I was hanging out in there, just chilling, just trying to improve, just a group of cool people. Check us out, the link's in the description for the invite, and I'll see you guys in the next video.